Brothers.
Hey, Tommy Reed here. I'm with Johnny and Duane, and we're going to talk about beer. Who likes it? Why do they like it? Who makes it? Why do they make it? Go!
Go.
So what's the question?
What's the question?
Beer.
That's a statement, and I stand by it.
Okay, beer.
What
Well,
what
okay.
kind of beer do you
Wait.
like? What kind of beer don't you like? That's probably an easier question.
Here's a question. What was your first beer that you drank?
Lone Star.
Lone Star,
Budweiser.
Budweiser. Mine was probably Coors. I know my dad was drinking Coors back in the day, and so
The
if my dad
banquet
was drinking
beer.
it, that's what I drank. Not the Silver Bullet. It was a
No,
Rocky
the-
Mountain High, Colorado,
Gold can.
gold can, Golden, Colorado, Coors.
I've been there.
That's probably
Nice place.
Me too. It was wonderful. It's a great brewery.
Nifty little. Did they point you up at the top of the hill where Wild Bill's buried?
I don't remember I was drinking.
When you walk out, there's a little dive bar that they serve all their beer at, and then they'll point at the top of the hill where there's a big M, the mining consortium or mining school, mining college, has got their big M. And then above that on the top is where they claim that Wild Bill Hickok is buried.
Well, there you go. So here we go. I'll take this from you. I'll take these reins from you, Tommy.
You'll take it from me. You'll take it from me,
Now,
Daddy.
you said you drank Lone Star.
I drank
what caused
Lone
you to drink
Star
Lone
to-
Star?
because it was what it was. My mother had recently purchased and put in the refrigerator. I didn't know any better.
Budweiser.
Well, it was probably what was free and available. That's
Yeah,
that's
and
what-
again,
you know.
with me, is what my dad had in his ice chest. You know?
I do remember Dad drinking Coors, and my dad made beer for a while, so I know I don't. But anyways,
At what point, when do you remember transitioning and saying, this is the beer, whether you
I've
brought
always
it
been this
legally
way.
or illegally or however you got it, acquired it, what was it that you sought out that when you put your money forward, that's the beer you
What
wanted?
did it? Michelob.
Michelob? Which one?
I think they only had. It was pre-diet Michelob. So it
Yeah,
was
weekends were made for Michelob.
with
I remember the Michelob.
brown
Wacky,
bottle?
wacky bottle.
And
brown
the
bottle.
paper
Yeah.
top.
Yeah, that was probably.
Johnny Ray?
Well, Michelob was one. Old Milwaukee was the other. Old Milwaukee, I bought a lot and
Because it was cheap.
It was it was cheap. You could buy. I remember it was like
You get a six pack for $1.50.
yeah, you get like $7 a case, dude.
But as your
And it wasn't bad beer.
Well, Pabst and Black Label.
Oh
And
my God!
Remember?
Yes, we
Milwaukee.
remember the generic beer.
Yeah,
Milwaukee's Best.
Like
the
Milwaukee,
Beast.
nasty-
Milwaukee's
nasty
Beast.
stuff.
I've drank a lot of that.
Oof.
So I know for me,
The
it
PX
was,
used to have pallets of that stuff. Pallets.
for me it was Miller Lite, right?
Yeah, the champagne of beers.
The champagne of beers. No, that was regular Miller.
Cowboy
So,
beer.
The
then.
High Life.
Miller High Life. That was a champagne of beer, but
Yeah.
Miller Lite was something different, a different animal.
Yep.
So, did you ever? Was there a point where you transitioned away from that? Because we're drinking
Yeah.
something completely different now, and I could tell you, I don't remember the specific date, but I remember the specific time and the moment when I had Shiner Bock for the very first time. But I digress. So,
He was having sex with several prostitutes and they were butt chugging.
all night long. So anyway,
That's where he got that
So he's
bitter.
got
you
two
That's where he got
transitioned-
that
He's got-
bitter nutty taste.
He's got two girls holding him up,
He
a
acquired
third
it.
one holding his head down, and a fourth one plugging beer bottles into his butthole.
nonstop. It was a great
So-
weekend.
So I know, I remember when I was, Bud Light. I drank Bud Light for many, many, many years, and then I went to, I did the Miller High Life, then I Bud Light for fucking long time. It wasn't. I quit drinking beer and went to vodka and wine when me and Mrs. John and Ray got together
And
because it just
penises.
No, you're getting way ahead. You're
Oh,
getting way
okay.
Now, slow down. Slow your horses.
all right.
He
So
was
what I'm
he was
talking
giving
about,
up
so
beer for
you came
penis.
to
Shut
the
up, Tommy.
point where, all right, so you're purchasing whatever because
He's
you ain't got no money.
purchasing penis.
I know. I remember transitioning to. It had just come out, Miller Genuine Draft.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was my next transition, right?
Yeah.
And I'd tried different beers. I always thought, Heineken, that was an exotic beer back in the day.
Yep.
Or St. Pauli's Girl.
Yeah, I never
That
did
was
like the guys that would ask,
A
"Do you want a
Mickey's.
Heine?"
Yeah, exactly, right? But
What was the English, not English, the Irish one, the one with the B on the green bottle?
the B on
Oh,
the
so
green
that was
bottle.
honey.
No. It was this little beer keg, and it was Irish fucking malt liquor.
That's Frost.
Nah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
no, you've seen it. It's got a weird angry bee on the side of it.
A B, like a bumblebee or a letter B?
Bumblebee. And,
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking
And
about.
the
man.
O'Doul's is the
Non-alcoholic.
version of that beer.
Don't know.
Whatever.
You're gonna have to think on that one.
I'm about as thunk out as I'm gonna get.
So yeah, these are the transitions for me. I went to Miller Genuine Draft. But you guys never transitioned out of anything? You went to
No, I'm never transitioned.
What do you
went back into Budweiser. And
So
the reason
yeah,
I'm asking is because for me personally, beer consumption has been a journey, not a destination. Right? I didn't go to get drunk.
I don't know. I started drinking diet beer a long time ago and just kept up with the low calorie beers.
And that's fine, but you don't drink the same low calorie beer. Your taste buds have changed.
no, and
Throughout the years,
Shiner
throughout the
Blonde
years.
is what I usually drink.
Yeah, and you like that. I mean, I remember I was working in Austin. I was an assistant Pizza Hut manager, and my drivers, we went outside, closed down the shop. Yeah, you might remember those days. And then the guys were like, hey, we're going to have a beer. Have you ever had a Shiner Bock? And I was like, no. You want one? I said, yeah.
I think anybody that knows Bobbert has at some point worked under his tutelage.
Brother Lee.
Yeah, Dr. Bobert and his pizza empire. To which I
Right.
got fired because I kept a gun in my store.
I made transitions to different beers when I actually
Did you do the full transition or just a partial transition?
just a partial at first, and then it wasn't when I think it was 2014 when I was in Korea. Somebody's like, I wanted a beer, but I didn't know what I wanted because I was like, okay, we've been drinking all this, sitting around just drinking whatever beer somebody bought, and so it was free beer, but I wanted something different, something I never had. And so somebody like, hey, you want this IPA? And I'm like, what the hell is that? And when I had it, I was like, holy fuck, this is like
Foul.
this
Horrible.
is like potpourri in a fucking beer,
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 2015 to 2018 when I went to Japan, and me and a buddy of mine, coworker, he was all into the beers. And he was like educating, like, oh, this is what we do, and this is what we do. Oh, and previous to that, when I was there in Korea, there was a guy, Joe Samuel. He actually made beer. He lived in the barracks. He made beer, and then when it was come time for the inspections, he would move it all over to I lived in a BEQ, so he'd move it all over there. Dude, it was like I realized what another beer tastes like, a better beer. So drinking a Bud Light or something like that, it's like, man, there's just really nothing to this.
Well,
It's just
I'm all about the flavor, and that was the same for me. I mean, I slowly transitioned. I needed more flavor. I needed more taste, more flavor, and I got back.
bigger penis, less tits. Bigger penis, less tits.
Yeah. And I
Transition.
Shiner. That
Transition.
became my just number one primary go-to beer. and then I was turned on to the Shiner Bohemian Black Lager, and that was really a gateway for me. Right,
So-
It
so
was
I
a
drank
gateway
that.
for you.
It
You're talking
took
about-
me into that one right there.
Yeah.
So what's that one?
This
That's
is
a Shiner Bohemian Black Lager. It's a dark beer.
This
It's
is
a
actually-
chocolatey beer, coffee beer.
this
kind
is
of.
actually really good.
And
I like this better
once
than-
I started drinking that, I had to explore, and that's when I went out and started really just drinking everything beer wise, and mostly micro brews and things of that nature. I did sour beers, flavored beers, whatever. I just explored all of it. I just wanted to see where are my taste buds on this journey.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had some beers that the alcohol content was, 14, 15%. I've had some beers where they were so tough I couldn't finish a full beer. It was just
You've
too
had a
much
Duvel,
for me.
Duvel.
I don't know. The
That's
Clown
a-
Shoes. There was a brewery called Clown Shoes that was making some beer. Oh my God! And I discovered Odell's, Dell's Pale Ale. These guys, they make some great stuff. 1050, some Irish stouts, some IPAs. Just, great stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the IPAs now.
Mm-hmm.
I just thinking back, just not that long ago, I was like, man, this is horrible. But now it's like that's my go-to. So if it's an IPA, I don't like the fruity ones. I want the really bitter, hoppy ones.
Well, I met up with a group of guys and we started making our own beer. And I'm the guy, I want to taste the grains in the beginning. I want to taste the grains while they're cooking. I want to taste the grains when you're done with them and they're all the sugar spent out of them. What do you got? What's left? What's the flavors there? If you're putting the hops in there, I want to taste the hops. If you're putting whatever you're putting in there at whatever point in the brew is, I want to be tasting it so that I can discern the flavors as the beer is going through the process. And I believe it has really helped me be able to drink beers and discern the flavors within the beer as I'm drinking it.
Yeah.
And there was one time we made like a double IPA, and they sent in the kit, you had dry pellet hops, and it also had some liquid hop. I mean, it was like super concentrated hop in a syringe. And of course, I had to taste some.
Was it?
That was horrible. I mean, my nose started watering, my eyes were watering, my nose was
So
running.
you tasted
shit's
the
coming out.
straight
The
concentrate.
straight concentrate hops, and it was super sensory overload. I mean, and it was horrible. But after it was all said and done,
Is that what it tasted like, Butt?
not the left side, not the right side, but
Right
in the middle.
Yeah, I've also always wondered, is butthole a flavor or now?
It was bad. It was really bad.
But
it was
in
like,
the end,
it was like being in the. You ever go in the gas chamber?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Same reaction.
Yeah, that never gets old.
you had to run and flap your hands.
Something like that.
Get your hands out of your face, Trey.
But yeah, no.
The fuck is wrong with you?
It helped me really appreciate hops on a smaller, more cellular level instead of that intense. So I've been able to have a little bit more discernment in the flavor of hops in my beers that I don't think I could appreciate otherwise.
So in the end product, was it?
The beer
Good.
itself was delicious. All the beers that I've ever made, I've
so
loved.
it was
They've been wonderful.
it was a double IPA.
It was the straight concentrate, the syringe.
If Johnny can open a beer and I can smell it from here, I don't want anything to do with it.
you don't want
nothing.
anything, if you can smell the beer, you don't want anything to do with it.
If he opens it over there, and I'm sitting right here, and I can smell his beer, that's a non-starter for the kid.
So you do not like sensory overload.
No. I don't like anything overload. I'm a control freak, so I prefer my own encapsulated, easily managed environment. I don't want anything else rocking my boat.
Tube.
Just saying.
I can appreciate it.
Boob.
And I don't want, and I would agree to an extent that I don't want something to take over and overpower me, but
If it
I
overpowers you, what's going to stop it from rolling you over and getting you right in a keister
powering me over, yeah.
and forced butt chugging?
Well, you just never know. And I'm simply saying that I just want the experience of each individual ingredient.
Mohammed, roll him over. Get him with that sacred beer.
I want
Shove
to,
it up his butt. Shove it up his butt.
I want to experience each individual ingredient so that I know how to
1 inch at a
discern it.
time.
So I can discern it from all the other ingredients.
Do you like it cold or you like it room temperature?
Yes.
So he likes cold butt chugging.
Are we talking about?
So we're talking about beer. At least I am. So warm beer.
That's
What's-
code for tiny ding dong.
Does it really give it that much flavor?
I personally believe that a
'Cause-
dark beer, not room temperature, but maybe slightly cooler, like a red wine versus a white wine.
Yeah.
You know, are supposed to be a different temperature profiles.
Yeah.
I believe that a cool dark beer versus a cold dark beer, the flavors change.
So when you say dark beer, now people associate like you go and look on the shelf and there's the Millers, there's the Buds. Those are not dark beers.
No.
Anything we're talking, somebody could say, well, Shiner's a dark beer.
Shiner has a dark beer.
No. My question is when the average Joe goes and pulls, if they hear this, they're going to be like, okay, well, it's a dark beer.
Yeah,
Dwayne said I could do this. What?
And what I would call it is a darker beer. I don't necessarily call this a dark beer. It's an amber beer. It's a colored beer.
There you go.
Versus a dark beer
Colored
that
beer.
actually looks like this bottle, right?
Okay.
This is just amber. It's got a little bit of extra color to it. And the reason that it's got a little bit of extra color to it is because the barley has been toasted a little bit more. And that's it.
There you go. So
And
now
it's in a Fruit Loop lined barrel.
So what's the difference? So I always have a problem with the difference between a porter and a stout.
They're just names. There are only two kind of beers, actually, in the whole wide world.
Big penis and little penis.
Lagers and
That
ales.
boy's on a
There's
different
lager,
program than
it's
we
a
are.
lager or an ale, and depending on the cook of the grains and the grain juice, yada yada yada, that's where all the other stuff changes. But you got ales and lagers.
So
You
you're
got
saying
top ferment and bottom ferment. There's some that have to ferment.
Top and bottom.
Yes, it's a thing.
Boys have penises. Girls have vaginas.
It's
So-
not a tumor.
So you're saying
What's your daddy's name and what does he do?
So a porter and a stout, it's just a name change. So
Well, is that a cousin difference between the beers, or is that an actual composite makeup difference of the beers? Because it seems to
It's
me
all in the grains.
Okay.
so Mrs. Johnny Ray, she likes a porter. If it's got the name porter on it, it's like, okay, I'll try that. Well, I'll try this stout. I'd rather have a porter. Explain.
I don't think there's a difference.
There obviously is. This is Mrs. Johnny Ray.
It-
There's obviously
She's got
there's a difference because
disconcerting
it
palate.
wouldn't have a different name.
They're spelled different.
Well,
And that's the problems.
Mrs.
that-
Tommy goes for, where's the dark one? No, darker. No, darker. You know how I like the boys darker. So,
Like I said, he's on a different program.
Well, it's just
don't hate.
a lot of most of it has to do with your grains. So there
Okay.
you go.
And by grains, you mean balls.
I mean the grains that you use to get your flavor profile from your beer, whether you're using wheat or whether you're using barley or corn or
Is it a hoax that Budweiser is rice based?
not necessarily. It's possible.
So I'm drinking this, the Pantera Golden Ale. Okay, and
You
then
know how I
there's
know you're gay?
because I drink Pantera.
Because you're holding some really fruity beer.
It's. Shut up, man. It says born and brewed in Texas. Okay, so when
As Pantera was.
it was
Yeah.
Pantera's from Dallas, aren't they?
no
Yeah.
shit. Okay,
Yeah.
well, didn't know that part. But the thing is like when I saw the Pantera, I was like, I've never had it, so I was like, well, I'll try it. Bought it, and I was expecting something different because Pantera.
Well, they're probably the beer or the liquid manufacturer is probably having more benefit of having the Pantera name than the.
Yeah, I get that, but it's just like,
Is there any
It was-
left in there?
yeah.
Pour it in that cup or that glass. Let's look at it.
What are you afraid of backwash?
my
That's all
goodness.
backwash.
Oh my goodness.
See, that's just a fucking
Budweiser.
Hazy, yeah, it's a hazy butt wiper.
Is it?
That's
What is
the thing.
it?
Is
Is it an
it Butt
IPA?
Wiper?
What is it?
No, it's a golden ale,
Ah,
and I was just
golden ale.
To be honest, it was a big letdown because it was like Pantera bitching, fucking got it and tasted it. And it's like, dude, it didn't taste any different than any other beer.
They're the ones that do space trucking.
No, that's Deep Purple.
Okay.
Well,
knew that.
Originally, I don't know who.
I was just testing you. Good call. Good catch.
well, it was a very interesting trip down beer lane with you guys. So
Are we done? I'm not done. I got all kinds of gas in the tank. I can offend people for hours.
well, I know that, but we're going to
That's
move
not-
on to a different topic,
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
and so take us out, Tommy.
Bye.
Reed Brothers.